Um, now where are we at here? Yeah, so y'all can go ahead and put whatever I got in the chat. Was watching NQCL and RB mates. Just didn't have the confidence to enter on those. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and show you guys my entry right here though. Well, I entered NQ as well, but first I'm gonna go over CL and why I entered this trade. So to go through the daily, let me delete this. You know, the daily, there's really nothing here that necessarily supports bearish or like I'm saying like there's nothing that we traded into the previous day, right? We're kind of just coming off of expansion, right? For Monday, we expand. Now we didn't really expand to anything relevant, right? I'm kind of looking at this low as a draw, right? But when we think about continuation, we want to see the upper half of a candle respected ideally. So why did I adjust my target or how did I trade this day? How did I get around that? Well, I use the 4-hour chart and the intraday really I kind of adjust my targets, right? Because I don't really expect price to get down here just because that opposing run, but the daily candle is very large, right? So it doesn't really support expansion, to this low or past this low. Um, so what I kind of framed here is we're just inside of a range, right? From here to here. And when I think about this is really what led me to shorts, right? Is within this range, right? Did we manipulate this low? No, clearly not, right? Not only because of this large candle displacing through it, but also the following candles after that, right? It's just low resistance liquidity. There's no like sense of urgency to trade away from this low here. So this leads me to believe that this is just a retracement, right? So it's just expansion, retracement. So I want to trade back to these lows, essentially, right? And so can I trade within this candle lower? Not ideally, right? Because it has that large wick, right? So I'm gonna wait for the 10 a.m. candle. Right? I'm treating this as right 6 a.m. reversal, 10 a.m. expansion into the current day's low. So this right here was the current day's low. Right now we're creating a new low. It could come down here, but I don't really care, right? Because I don't. That's just too much to predict in a sense, right? This is far more predictable. A good thing to note here is whenever you're trading a candle that doesn't necessarily support expansion, you always want to target near the opening price of that candle, which is what I did, or maybe a little bit past it. So if you were trading a candle like that with a large wick, or maybe like a reversal candle or something like that, always target around the current day's like opening price, like levels around there. And I have these equal lows as you see here, right? So it's a really good draw. So all I'm framing here is right these signatures of price where we're tracing very small bodied candles. Within this candle here, we have a fractal model. Not only do we have a 4-hour fractal model, but you can refine it down. This is what I do a lot. Right? I can refine this down to a 9 o'clock 1-hour fractal model, right? We got an ideal swing formation right here. We get this ideal swing formation where candle 2 also validates this as an opposing candle. So I can trade a candle 3 lower into these lows right here, right? And since manipulation has occurred, let me turn on my indicator for you. So this would be a New York reversal, right? And as soon as this candle opens, this new candle, right? This now allows this next candle to expand, right? Now, now essentially expansion is aligned, right? Because within this candle here, this 6 a.m. candle, it's going to be a little bit hard to expand in this candle because of the way it formed, right? We open low and high. It's just a large wick. So this next candle is really going to be quick. It should be quick to this lows. So what I did, I just entered off of this right here, right? In anticipation of the high of the 10 a.m. candle to form within this level here, right? This propulsion block, right? When I look to the left, I also have inversion. That you want to pair old PD arrays with south side of the curve with the right side of the curve, right? It's just an added influence. And as you see, I always like to use inverse fair value gaps. Right, they get respected, right? And I can enter this by TP down here, right? And that was my trade essentially. And I don't care if it goes lower all the way down here. That's not really, what I really care about. Basically, it was just a New York reversal into session lows. One of my favorite profiles. And it's always going to be, between two candles, the 6 a.m. candle and the 10 a.m. candle. If you look at all my trades, that's what I'm trading within, is within those two candles. It's a very repeatable process. But yeah, that was a fractal model there. Any questions on that? And if you wanted to trade the wire fractal model here, I believe there was a trade. Yeah, there's a trade right here, like right. Now you have a. Let me turn on the thing right here. Okay, my NQ trade just hit. Hold on, let me go close that out. Let's go. Okay. Hold on, guys. Just closing this out real quick. Very nice fractal model that we took over here too. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, if you wanted to take a 15-minute entry, absolutely valid here as well. Like I could have took a re-entry here, but I just didn't. Right, that offers 2R as well. So really clean day here, man. This is really nice. It's more of an intraday type of trade. That's what I do a lot of times. It's more about profiling for me. I'm a very big on profiles and how the day forms, right? So like I said, this daily candle, on the daily, I can't really justify a sell day necessarily for continuation, just off that rule. But just off this alone, the 4-hour chart, right? We're not manipulating this. Signatures here of retracement. And then, this 6 a.m. for the 4-hour profiling that I do with just the daily profile as well, which I'm just targeting this low. So that's how I kind of view that there. Does that make sense, everyone, so far about CL? Pretty clean, right? Um, okay, so I don't trade oil. Are you finding most of your setups, oil setups in New York? I'm looking to add. Well, I only trade New York, so but there is definitely opportunities in London session I've seen. If you do trade London for oil, definitely is some opportunities there. But yeah, I only trade New York. I know you were talking about blending the 4-hour and the 1-hour, but on the 1-hour we had a CSD. Can you talk um, about how that didn't scare you? Wait, 1-hour CSD. This? Wait, where? Are you talking about this CSD right here? Well, that's not a CSD, right? CSD would be, you technically have to use this, right? Because this is all internal. Hold on, someone texted me. Oh, it's teacher, sorry. So this is all internal, right? But this right here, like I said, it didn't really tag anything, but also I'm looking at, um, how we even react to this high, right? We fail to displace through it, right? And then by the time it hits 10 a.m. when I actually trade, it already CSD again lower. So even if you reviewing this as CSD, it gets invalidated right there. Um, I'm in this. Nice. Oh, nice, dude. It's a nice one, bro. Um, yeah. So we might move on now. Do you introduce concepts that are unfamiliar from? No, not really. I just use the 4 hour time frame. Um, maybe a little slightly different, but not really, bro. Nothing that I use is not taught in the lens. I might blend it a little bit differently. Like I said, I almost trade similar to AM. Um, but it's so it's funny because like naturally it's just the fractal model a lot of times. I'm like AM trades, but trading away from manipulation and stuff like that. Um, but I like to use candles. I like to trade within candles. You know how AM doesn't really do that. He doesn't really trade within 4 hour candles, 1 hour candles, and stuff like that. That's what I do. But I don't necessarily need a C2 closure. I also trade within reversal candles as well, which is not what T trades does. But I also explain how to do that. There's a specific protocol to trade a candle to NQ30. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna get into NQ now. Let's go into NQ now, guys. I'll post this later. All right, so this is one of my favorite ways to. It's just like CL, dude. It's just like CL. Um, hold on, who's texting me? AB. Okay, never mind. I keep thinking my stream is like paused or something. All right, so coming into the day, very awkward, right? Because when you have Monday like this, a very large range, and we're kind of just opening in the middle of it, if you draw that 50%, I'm not actually expecting price to come and take out one of these highs necessarily. Just because after a large range like that, we can usually inside bar. I'll try to find like an example like this very large range, usually inside bar, you know. Um, so I'm not really trying to frame some expansion day necessarily, but what I do see here, as I turn on these session indicators here, is a very clean daily profile. Again, I'm referring to daily profiles, not even a daily chart necessarily, because I'm only catching 2R, 3R. This was a 3R trade. So I don't necessarily always need the greatest or the most everything aligned and stuff. I'm using the 4 hour chart a lot of times to kind of back my profiling here. This is what we see here, right? What we do is we create a new low of day with manipulation, right? I've already went on this in my stream about this is the ideal scenario for any candle because what you're doing is the low of the candle, the wick is formed from manipulation, right? Which is a protected swing, right? So when you do that, when the wick is formed from a protected swing, oh, well, whoops, sorry. This is when you can anticipate expansion. So the wick is formed from manipulation. What happens after manipulation? We expand, right? So this is when we can anticipate the expansion of the daily candle. And you're ideally going to be entering around the opening price of that daily candle. And this naturally, when you're using this with profiles, you can already blend this with the 4 hour time frame. But does that make sense so far? If I go to CL here, you're going to see the same thing, right? The high of the day is formed from manipulation. And I'm usually going to refer to the hourly chart for this just to keep it somewhat mechanical. Um, that's just how I do it. Now, this is not something that I need to have, but this is ideal. Right? This is always ideal for a New York reversal or whatever I'm trying to frame, right? And what we do, we pair a manipulation, right, with a SMT and a driver. So do we have SMT? No, right? No SMT, but we do have a driver. If I take you to 930, right? 930 makes an opposing run, manipulates, and then we close through that, right? That is high probable, right? This is giving my bias for today, basically, right? For the 10 a.m. candle. If I go to the 6 a.m. candle, right? If 6 a.m. is the one, if 6 a.m. the candle that manipulated, well then what do I expect the 10 a.m. candle to do, right? Expand. right? So this is I'm basically like using the 4 hour chart like I would use the daily chart. So I can't refer to the daily chart for much, right? I can't really do that. So I can refer to the 4 hour chart to give me something, right? And I can trade a 4 hour expansion candle to get 2 to 3 R, you know? That's kind of what I'm doing here. And I'm trading within a daily, you know, I wouldn't call this expansion candle necessarily, but I'm trading away from the low of the day. That makes sense? So a lot of times within, the low of a previous 4 hour candle, you're going to have a fractal model on a lower time frame. So I can break this down to the 30-minute time frame, right? See that? So within this candle here, the 10 a.m. candle, so 10 a.m. opens here, I can form a fractal model, which is what we see right here, right? So what we do is we take out these highs to the left, and we fail to manipulate them. This is something that AM talks about, where the opposing run after taking out a higher low is your continuation signature, right? And we also have a key level. You have the closure through, ideal swing formation, enter on the retests. I'm going for 3R. Kind of got a little bit greedy there, but I think yeah. So like this RR was not really there for me, and I was really one sided on this 10 a.m. candle, so I could have went for 2R. Nothing wrong with that. I would have got out a lot sooner. I went for just 3R. I don't know why I just did. Um, you could also do something like this, right? Your TP could be up here, right? Using the bodies here, but yeah, that's how I frame 4 hour candles for a lot of my biases. Does that make sense? I'll go over gold too. Gold was pretty clean. Um, okay, so are the majority of your trades taken at or post 10 a.m. open? I would say majority of them are, yeah. And I would say the 10 a.m. candle probably the easiest to trade because it's usually continuation. Because by that time you have 2 sessions already passed, right? You have the Asia session, the London session, uh, and not only that, but you have majority of the AM drivers, right? You have like 9:30 already passed, 8:30 already passed. So a lot of times it's just continuation. So you don't have to do too much. You don't have to guess too much. You have a bunch of information to work off of. So it's a lot easier. But I will trade the 6 a.m. candle as well because it has drivers within that as well. So let's say 2 a.m. puts in the low of the day. Then I can expect 6 a.m. expansion. So 2 a.m. as in the 2 a.m. 4 hour candle open, which is London session. Um, and or it can be a 6 a.m. reversal candle where it needs to be a reversal into expansion candle, right? Because I only trade expansion candles. I only want to trade expansion candles. So it would have to be that. Um, if it's like a New York reversal within like 8:30 or 9:30 or something like that. First time in a stream, where can I find more about your model? Um, yeah, so he pointed that out there. In my future streams, just go on my channel as well. So we're trying 1 hour, 5 minute, but lost with 2 entries on NQ. Can you go over why targeted previous day PM session low as I expected lower prices? Okay, let's go over this. It was like okay, 1 hour, 5. Checking that out. If anyone took this, I think this is decent for sure. This is literally exactly what I do, right? Manipulation prior to 6 a.m. open. This is a new 4 hour candle. So you're basically lining a 1 hour model with a higher type of expansion candle, which is this 6 a.m. candle. So this 2 a.m. candle manipulating, this next candle distributing to these low resistance lows. So I see you're trading within a 4 hour expansion candle, which is what I like to see. Now you have this as well. Okay, so I see that you traded within this. Okay. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. Yeah, like 9:30. Yeah, I don't think it's that bad, bro. Um, because I mean, we could have this could have been the high of the day. It could have, right? But we needed to displace to this low, right? And it just didn't do it, you know. So that's just how it goes sometimes. I don't think that's a bad trade. Your other one, let me see. Okay, your other one was a bit earlier. Trying to find out when that was. Another one was here. What was this one? Okay, this is valid. My computer's freezing. Mm, I don't know if this one is valid, right? Technically not, because you're trading within this candle here. If this one within this candle it would be valid, right? Because you have a swing point, a continuation in candle four, but you're trading within a candle two, right? I would say this one is valid. The second one is valid. But wouldn't that be a C2 early entry once you get the CSD? I mean, I do it. I do it personally, but I'm saying if you're gonna use P trades, that's why I didn't know you traded candle two. Technically, yeah, like you could do that. If you're gonna do it, trade a candle two. That's what you would want to see, right? Um, where is it at? Yeah, I mean, you could basically do that. I don't really like entering prior to what you call it, equities open personally, because I don't like doing. But I mean, it worked out like kind of right. It's technically not invalid if you're gonna trade a candle two. It just could so it created a new low of the day, right? So 9:30 created a new low of the day, and this is where you want to see if you're bearish, you need to displace through these lows. So you need to see something like this in a lower time frame. You see something like this. But when we expand into it and expand back in the range, that is a reversal signature, right? That is literally expansion with expansion is a reversal signature. And you can even see that here in the 1 minute. You see how we displace these highs. So if I'm bullish, what do I want to see? Just like I just showed you on the lows. I need to see price trade into the highs, trade away from it, and then trade back through it. That's a continuation signature generally, um, which is not what we see down here. Right? We expand into it, expand away. So like you're not wrong for you know entering there. The only thing I just don't like about this is like how close this entry is to this low. I mean that's not very favorable, but I know you're targeting this low. Like I know you're targeting that, but this is a significant low right here. I would say, just intraday wise, it is because it's the current day's low. Right, it's creating the new daily wick at this point. Right, so when you're below the daily open, you can't displace through the low. Right, it's kind of concerning. For this is why I flipped, or I didn't flip. I didn't really. I came to charts and I saw this, and I was like, well, I'm going to frame a 10 a.m. expansion candle, basically. Can you make a example trade using ARL IRL? Sure. Um, let's see. So my ideal scenario for to trade external to internal, there's always going to be some. If it's like a higher time frame range or something like that, let's say we expand. This is not what you want to trade. Let's say we trade into a high. So this is external. You do not want to trade this back into a range, right? Because that's just low resistance liquidity. You never want to short low resistance liquidity. You want to trade away from a protected high, aka manipulation. So something like this, let's say we consolidate, we manipulate, and then we CSD. This is now a protected swing, and then we can also expand back into a range, back to internal to external. This is the ideal scenario to trade that's not this, because this is not expansion back to the range. Like I said, it's retracement. It's gonna be slow and lethargic, deep retracements. So something like that. Um, Now I'll try to find you an example. Something like this, bro. This is a what do you call it? 6 a.m. model, right? You have an expansion. You have these lows. You see these stacked lows here? This is the 1800 low. So you could look to trade this lower now. I don't know if it's the Frappa model. If it's not, I don't think. Could play this 4 hour candle though. We'll see if there is one in here. Maybe with the correlated asset. Okay, we do, let's see this. No, technically the CSD down here. Oh, I remember this day. There was some bullshit. But yeah, this is how I would frame it, just showing the model. This is how I would technically frame it. Some sort of manipulation back into the range, but I mean, I'll try to find an example here. Um, mm, mm, mm. Oh damn, I can revert to one. I just don't know how long ago it was. I just remember when I traded. I think it's right here, bro. Yeah, it's right here. I think. Uh, and it is within. So basically, the previous two sessions expand. So you're very rarely going to get all three sessions expand. And at the time of 10 a.m. open, I see that the daily range is already like very large, right? So am I expecting 10 a.m. candle to also expand lower? Probably not. So this is when I can frame a 10 a.m. candle back into the range. So I actually traded this. I posted like on my Twitter or something. And let me just play this candle out. Oh my goodness. Hold on. What the hell is going on? This is so laggy. I think I traded right here, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's like SMT right here. Let me check. Right. So SMT manipulation, right? So you want to see? Let me just draw. Never mind. You don't need to draw it out. You see it, right? So you can enter here, stop loss below here, and then target back into the range. So I'm framing an hourly, you know, external, internal, or whatever, an hourly 5 minute model within a 4 hour expansion candle. Does that make sense? As you see, we go back into the range. That would be an example there that I took. But generally, I don't really do that. There would be another one though. Look at the previous day also expanded very heavily. But this is totally against. Like, I wouldn't trade this probably, right? Because I'm trading within a reversal candle. Not only am I fading the daily candle, but I'm also fading the 4 hour candle. Probably wouldn't do it, but this is an example of trading manipulation back into a range. So like I told you, expansion, you want to manipulate to expand back into a range. Uh, let's see if there's a fractal model here. So there is, right? There you go, right? Intracranial chain of state delivery right here. And you could trade that back into the range. So there's some back-to-back days of example. I just wouldn't trade this one personally. Who messaged me? Oh, those announcements. Okay. So I'm sorry I'm asking about an asset you don't trade. Can you check my idea was correct or not? Monday manipulated the daily lows and the gap opening of Tuesday made me bullish and validating a bearish idea. And after looking at a shallow run after open, of the continuation entry of the nearest wall available. What asset is this? Oh wow, that gap is crazy. It's like a stock or something, or like NG, like some. Oh okay. Uh, dang, I'm not really good with stocks, but I think it's like valid. Second great opens low first. Oh, NG next. Um, yeah, if you got in prior to these highs getting taken out, I think it's valid. Can't tell though. Oh yeah, I think you did right. Is this line those highs? I'll say it's not bad. This wick is kind of weird, but I mean, if that's how stocks open, if that's how they, open and gap and wick and stuff like that, that's cool. I think that's how that happens. But I don't know anything about that stuff. Bro. I would just say like, you know, as far as this being a manipulation, like technically, like not really. Just going off mechanical, but it gap lower. So that's the thing. Like it gap lower, so it's hard to say, right? Um, it is like an indecision close, but it didn't really close back into this candle's range or back within this candle's low. So kind of hard to say. It's just an awkward chart, like to be honest. Are most of my trades 1 to 2? Probably a little bit higher. But yeah, those are my 2 trades today. Do y'all have any examples or questions? Um, we can look at some other stuff. Oh, let me show you guys RTY, man. I thought this was pretty decent. It was like, all right. Oh wow, didn't even go there. Never mind. I would still draw for this low though. Like if I did enter this trade, I would have still ideally, be targeting his lows. But within this 10 amp candle, we can say that 6 a.m. Reversed, right? Oh my gosh. Right. We could say that 6 a.m. reverse. So ideally, I don't want to see this high get taken out. You know, there's no reason to be honest. But it does go and take the high out. Right. So ideally you want the 10 a.m. high to form here to go down here. But that doesn't happen. But we do end up forming a model off of this. Dude, why can't I bar play? So weird. We do end up forming a 30-minute model here. Right, you have a 30-minute close. When I look off the 4-layer asset here, we also just have, I can't even use, never mind, I can't even use that. It's not even close to correlated. There's literally no point. But if you're going to still be bearish, you know, this is the only area. It's the 6 a.m. high. Like it would have to reverse here. If it goes any higher, if it can't displace, if it can't reverse off this high, then it's not going to be a reversal day. Just because it's not going to reverse at like 12 p.m. or something. It's not something I would want to trade anyways. So it's something you can trade. Um, in here you have this, right? You have boom, boom. There you go, right? You have this as well. Just so you see the swing formation. So I was already in a trade. I wasn't even looking at RTY as well, but this is something I could have traded. And it had a really nice sell off there, but it's coming back to the range, which is weird. Um, but yeah, that was like decent, honestly. But it's just like chopping. Like if we can't, you know, be supportive of this here, what can are we within right now? Basically, I would want to see this 30-minute candle lower. Like if we just come higher, like nah, that's just chop best. I don't even like how it retraced without taking out something significant. It's kind of weird. Kind of like a red flag, but What else is clean? I thought I know what's his name? Uh, who took this again? Are you in here? Oh, it's Soup. He took this. He took a YM long here. Wire model. Very clean. But look here. You really have two today, right? So if you guys have seen my first stream, you know I have this rule about creating or ideal reversal, reversing in two candles basically. So the first candle being the candle that hits the key level, and you can frame a reversal off of this candle's low. So this is how you trade a reversal candle too, right? And it has to have a small closing run, right? And it has to open low first, and the previous candle has to hit a key level, right? And ideally, it closes an expansion candle. So that's what we see here, right? If you look here, we have 1800 open. So the daily candle going open low first, which is ideal. This is where you can use time frame alignment. It's also in London session. And here you go, right? Now if you use the 5 minute as well, whatever you want to use. I don't, like I said, I don't really trade within, I don't really use 4 hour, 15-minute alignment personally. I like to kind of refine it down. So if you look here, you can just refine this down to a, 1 hour model, you know, you could do that. That's why I do a lot of times. I'm basically trading 4 hour expansion candles, and here you would have taken a loss, right? And you could have just got back in right there. So a potential loss right here, and you could trade this, right? Now this here didn't really trade into anything. You could say that this opposing candle didn't trade into anything, so that could have been avoided, to be honest. But this is nice. Like this is fire. This can be absolutely traded. This is very nice, right? We see price respecting the 0.5 of this range. And it's also just a nice signature, right? Expansion back in the range, some sort of consolidation, manipulate it, they're expanding through it. And then you could just target this consolidation up here, which is the current day high. Or you could draw a standard deviation, something like this, or you could just do this, right? Something like that. So this could be your final TP. Let's enter two there. It should go, yeah, it should go from here. Pausing. Hold on. Hey. All right, so you can take first partial here or wherever you want, right? Sell one there, and you could go break even probably. And then here, you might even get another opportunity right here. I wonder if this one works out right here. Okay, that one doesn't. Oh, wait, sorry, we never got a CSD. I'm retarded. We never got a CSD. That would be our CSD. We might get tagged out. Where's 930 at? 930 is over here. Okay, there's 930. Okay, so technically, this could have been maybe, but I don't think so. I wouldn't take it probably. Yeah, okay, so you would have got to take break even right there if you were going to use this standard deviation, or you just take it fully right there. But this is why we wait for closes. So if you look at the close here, it's just like in Q, where 930 went lower first, but then we come back into the range, and then you form this CSD. But here's the thing about this day here is I just don't know how far it's going to expand. Just after yesterday's absolutely massive range. It's a crazy range. Um, so I don't know if I would take that. Yeah, it's like coming back. I probably would not have taken that. That would be right here. We're gonna trade that candle right there, which I don't know if that provides. I don't think that provides 2R. Then no way. Yeah, it does not. It's just hard to get that expansion back to back days like that. But I think this was just a way higher probable entry right here. This one, right? You have hourly manipulation inside of that gap. So as well as there's no high of the day that's established, right? It's just 1,800 candles. So that was basically my thought process for trading CL today, right? I shorted it into the lows because there's no established low today. It's just 1,800 the low today. A lot of times you can trade back to that. But yeah, that trade was pretty decent. Can you go over, oh yeah, gold, gold, gold. Sure. So I thought gold was pretty clean. So I traded yesterday. Um, but I believe I checked right Tuesday 21st. Okay, this is the 14th. 14th, 14th, 14th. Okay, so if you look at what is it called? Silver here, we take out the range low. So you have a range high to a range low here. We take out a range low and form SMT. So when the weaker asset takes out a significant low, right? This could be the potential opportunity for the weaker asset to actually catch up, right? That's all SMT is, right? It's one asset seeking, it like basically is just seeking liquidity, right? To grab. And the weaker asset here takes out this low, right? This would be the SMT, by the way, something like that, right? And we're really focused on the you know following days after an SMT is created, right? Um, because if the previous day manipulated, then we want to focus on the next day's, right? It should expand, right? If you ever see an SMT that's like this, and then we do something like this, it's absolutely insignificant because this is the candle that created the SMT. So if it fails to really expand, we start breaking lower. This SMT is absolutely useless. There's no point of even having an undercurrent. But anyways, if you look at this day, right? If you've seen my first, stream, then you know exactly why I would be why I shorted this day and why I would short this day. It's not even about handle closes necessarily. It's just about getting a new phase of price within one or two or two candles, right? We get a new phase of price after hitting this candle or after hitting this high, right? Within one candle, after hitting this low, right? One candle, right? Even over here, after hitting this high, what get a new phase of price the next candle. It's very consistent, right? Um, and when you don't get a new phase of price, right? When that's a continuation signature, right? That can tell you a lot. So even when it fails, right? If you look here, when do we get a new phase of price? The next candle, right? We take out these lows. When do we get new phase of price? The next candle. Look over here. When do we get new phase of price? Next candles, right? What about this fair value gap? The next candles expand away, right? So you see how literally you can ping pong this over here. It's kind of crazy, but um, we can get into detail about that later on one day. But if you look here, just off that logic, and there's no weekly high, right? It's just you know no wick. It's a flat top, right? So generally, price will trade back to this. There's no wick form for the weekly candle. Um, so if I go to the 4-hour chart here, we essentially have expansion and then consolidation here, right? Between these two candles, we have this inside bar here. And we have 2 a.m. manipulating here. Now I don't know if there's any SMT. I didn't really look into it. Look, 1700 Monday. 1700. Okay, cool. We do, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What about silver? No. Okay. So we do have SMT as well, right? Some sort of SMT at the low of the day. So when I look here, I probably can't use an hourly CST if yeah, like it's gonna be way up here. So this is when you have to revert to like more, intra-candle CSD and profiling. So what do we have here? Asia consolidation, London manipulation, hourly CSD, right? So this is the ideal profile that I was talking about earlier, right? Where the low of the day is formed from manipulation on the hourly chart. And at key times, this is London, 3 o'clock as well, very important. So this is, you can also apply this to the, high time from candles. This is exactly what I do. I frame a manipulation with a high time from expansion candle, right? So lower time from model supported by a higher time from expansion candle. So we see here on the 4 hour chart, what do we see? Right, expansion candles. Right, so 2 a.m. reversal, 6 a.m. continuation, and then we're just continuing that. I just wouldn't be interested in 10 a.m. probably, just because the daily candle is it's probably going to inside bar today. But within the 6 a.m. candle, you can trade this, right? And I don't know if there's a trade. I don't think there was here. Mm, yeah, I don't think. Yeah, there's no low that gets put in here. I mean, like technically, bro, you want to use that as a CSD? I'm not sure that I would though, personally. Maybe, yeah, maybe if you want to use that one, bro. But that this really small candle, you know, I don't know about that one. But maybe you want to use that one. But just going off the wire profiling, this is really clean, in my opinion. We can even maybe drop it down to 30-minute model, possibly. Uh, so all we do here, expansion into highs, we consolidate. So ideally, we manipulate. If you want to try to consolidate, you want to manipulate. But unless there's an SMT here. I'm not really seeing one. They just play this candle here, see if there's an SMT. Nope. Let's just see if there's a model here regardless. Uh, Technically, you have this intra-candle CSD here. You could potentially take, I guess. But if you're like an AM, if you take expansion, model, then just looking at the 7 hour profile, you're gonna see 1 AM candle reverses, right? 1 AM candle reversal, 8 AM candle expansion. And you could just use like 30-minute CSDs to get outside with this, which could be this right here, right? So whatever you trade, there's opportunities. But yeah, like maybe you took that one I just showed you, like within this candle, but that CSD is kind of small, not really something that I really like, but up to you. Yeah, I would say the weekly open is a good draw, especially if you don't reach it today. Yes, gold's correlated asset is silver, but you can also use this as well. Very correlated. XAU euro. If I show you the structure here, pretty correlated. Maybe have the S&T these lows. So the 23rd, no S&T there, but yeah, this is pretty correlated. I'll use like either one. This being the stronger of the three, this is like really, really clean on this. On this asset's pretty clean, right? If you expand, you have expansion. right? That's already a reversing here. Then we have some sort of consolidation here, right? Within this candle, we manipulate that low into a fair value gap, right? And then, we form the reversal and we expand through it. We also have this inversion here as well. It's probably kind of clean, but yeah, it's almost like a triad, right? You have these three assets are correlated. It's just like, in QES and YM or DXY, you know, Euro USD and GBP USD. It's just like that. Oh, we finally reached these lows. Nice. Let's see what YM offered. Oh, this is terrible. Wow, the first 2 hours of the day just melted. Yep, that'll ruin your day. You're a forex trader. Um, okay, hold up. Here on daily NQ and ES failure swings on both sides. I was bearish because we were nearing that consolidation low, but ended up being bullish to get a directional bias into manipulation in this area. Oh yeah, we definitely are, you know, kind of just ranging, right? So the best thing to do is within this to get a directional bias, you're either going to use a weekly profile, which can be hard to do, just because Monday really just kind of just invalidates any profile that you could ever have on a weekly um weekly profile basis, just because it's such a big range, right? So honestly, probably gonna chop this week. Or I would lean bearish almost, just because here's why. When we think about it, just candles in general, dude, this is a huge candle where I probably don't expect price to become a weekly expansion candle, with this huge wick. Look at this wick. That's how big it would be, by the way. If it wanted to come up here, like it would have to form a giant wick, which I don't really think, is favorable. When you look at most expansion just any candle, they don't have these wicks, these huge wicks. Like, look, maybe right here though, like it does happen, but could have a really small body. So if we come above the weekly open, which we probably will at some point, if we come above the weekly open and print a reversal candle, maybe off of this, or maybe we do come up here, but if we do come up here, I would revert back to the weekly range, right? Back into the weekly candle. So either way, I would lean bearish, but we can still come up here, right? So intraday, within this daily candle, I'm bullish, right? Just because of the daily profile. There's many ways you can get bias, outside of the daily chart. I don't want to really say that, but you know, um, if I'm catching 2R or something, I don't necessarily need everything to align, not necessarily. It takes a little bit more experience maybe and stuff like that when you're just trading within, because all you're trying to do is frame an expansion candle. That's it, right? So if I can frame a 4-hour expansion candle and a daily, bullish candle, then I can get 2 to 3 hour, right? And just with the way this candle forms, right? Consolidation profile within the previous 2 sessions, really, and then we manipulate with the driver. Well, I can expect an expansion rate within that. And just trading back to the new week opening gap and just how we don't have a wick here as well. But yeah, ideally, we want to see how we react to either side of the range when you reach it. Do we get a continuation to ensure? Are we going to continue through the range, or are we going to, manipulate it and then come back to the range and then seek the other side? That's all you're looking for, really. Also, there, how can I go about aligning the 1 hour 5 minute? Yeah, so I go over that in my streams. Really, it's really simple. So, like in this example, you have to wait for the close of this candle, right? If I want a long, right, Does this candle support longs? No, it doesn't, because the opposing one is very large. So I'm gonna have to wait for the next candle to open. If I want to trade a 10 a.m. expansion candle, then I'm gonna ask myself, how did this candle close, right? Yes, it did close a reversal candle, but is there a lower time frame reversal already put in? And this is when you can drop down to the lower time frame, right? This is the 6 a.m. close right here. And a lot of times on the 6 a.m. close or the previous candle's close, you're gonna have a lower time frame, C2 closure. That's what we see here. So if reversal has already been put in prior to 10 a.m., what will 10 a.m. do? Just expand. So this is when naturally, the low of the 10 a.m. candle will just be a candle three, usually, right? Or maybe it prints the candle two or whatever, right? It can just be formed from a fractal model, basically. And that's what we see here, pretty much. Whether you use I use a 30-minute here. Here's a 30-minute. And then here's my entry right here, right? That makes sense? So prior to the 10 a.m. open, we already have a reversal. So I'm just trading continuation. So basically, I have a lower time frame model supported by a 4-hour expansion candle. How come that 4-hour candle is a reversal? Didn't reach into. So this is where it gets a little bit more advanced, right? I don't have to have a 4-hour candle hit a 4-hour POI. Look on the hourly chart. It hit this POI, right? It hit, you know, session lows, right? It's forming a new low of the day. This is the POI I'm referring to. I don't use standard time frame alignment or anything like that, really, unless I'm using the actual entry model itself, you know. But I'm using more of a daily profile approach. If 6 a.m. candle within that time period manipulated on the hourly chart, well, the next 4-hour candle is going to expand, you know. So time frame alignment is on swing points. Well, that's just a key level. It's my idea. It's probably like my favorite key level, just because it's manipulation. But yeah, we're probably gonna end it here soon, unless you guys got some more questions, a couple more questions. But everyone understand the two trades I took regarding the 4-hour model? I was taught to think time frame alignment with 4-hour fair value at 50 minutes. Yeah, mine's a little bit different. So you're not wrong, bro. You don't have to trade this way. It's just a different way I approach it. So is it wrong? No, no, no. So look what you could do, right? This is your time frame alignment right here. It's the 30-minute, 3-minute model. So I did trade standard time frame alignment, but my framework is not standard time frame alignment. You know what I'm saying? And framework, I think if you have I think framework takes a lot of experience to, kind of frame stuff in a sense. But I really think framework, if you really try to um, get, I don't know, demand too much or like get too mechanical with it and this and that, it can get, you're just gonna miss opportunities. That's just my opinion, though. This is my opinion. Like, because I'm not really basing my, you know, trade on a 4-hour key level. I'm basically framing every day. I'm just framing a bullish daily candle. So it doesn't have to be a 4-hour key level. It can be an hourly key level. But I also want to trade in 4-hour expansion. You know? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, well, it may be a little complicated now, but it's actually pretty simple. It like all it is really is just trading within expansion candles. So I'm trying to align expansion candles. So you see on the daily time frame, I have that small wick. Now I'm just waiting for the next opening price, right? Because at this point, if I want to firm along off these lows, the 4 hour candle that hit this low, it doesn't support expansion. So I'm just going to wait for the next candle to open, right? To have that small opposing run to trade expansion. That's it. That's pretty much it. And within that, I have a fractal model. So I'm just framing a fractal model within 2 higher time frame expansion candles, really using daily profiles and stuff like this, right? So if you look on the daily chart, is this, off the daily chart? Not necessarily, but there's ways you can frame bias, without the daily chart necessarily, which isn't higher probable or the highest probable thing in the world, but um, when I use a driver, intraday profile is pretty nice here, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I'll probably end it here, guys. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, sorry I didn't stream this weekend. I was pretty busy. I was sick too, but yeah, I think next weekend you guys give me a topic and I'll cover that. Maybe if you guys want to go deeper into 4 hour stuff, we can. Whatever y'all want, for real. Um, but yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Hope y'all have a good day.